Error. Error contains two sections. One is a namespace and identifier, right? Namespace, identifier. So namespace is one. It tells a category. Which category of error? It is database category or file or JMS, whatever HTTP. It tells about a category of error. Identifier defines the inside that category what actual error is, right? Yeah. So in Mule, there we can handle error at 3 levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Application level.
Yeah. App level, application level,
flow level,
flow and processor level.
Yeah.
Processor level. So this differentiation is very important to understand. Application level means for multiple flows in your Mule project,
Right.
you
It's
have
global.
multiple flows. Okay,
It's
yeah, it's global one. Global
yeah.
one. Exactly right. So for multiple flows, we can define one error handler. Okay. This error handler has a name. We'll use some name to error handler. Say it is a global error handler. The name of this error handler is a global error handler. You can give any name. Okay. So this error handler will refer inside the flow. Right? If you refer the error handler is the global error, this application level error handler. Right? Flow level means for each flow has separate error handler section. If you define error handling logic in the flow specified space, that is called flow level error handler. Process level means we will wrap the processor inside the try block. Okay, the try block has a dedicated error handler section.
Yeah. Last time you call it component level. It's the same.
Yeah, component level or processor level. Processor level is the right word. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll wrap processors inside this try block, and if any error occurs, it's come to first try block. Error handler. Okay.
Got it. So one quick question.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. You're right. You explained very well application level and flow level or process level. That's good. I understand. I think I remember how you define the error handler in the flow level and the component level or process level. But I forgot, how do you define the errors in application level?
Sure, I'll show you right now. One moment. In a moment, I'll show you.
Because when you drag the listener, that is the flow level, isn't it?
Yes, the flow level.
But how do you do it in application level?
We'll understand about error handler. Okay. Assume error handler is a big container, right?
Yeah.
Error handler is a container.
Yeah.
Which contains what? Which contains error handler scopes. Okay, error handler is a container that contains error handler scopes. Okay. Inside the scope, we will define our error handling logic. What to do when the error occurs. That logic will define inside the error handler scopes.
Yeah.
Okay. There are two types of scopes. One is on error continue. On error continue scope and on error propagate scope. Okay. So we want to define error handling logic directly into error handler, right? We won't define error handling logic directly into error handler. Rather, we define the error handler logic inside the scope. The first point you need to remember, right? See, even let me here. So this is error handler. This is error handler. The box I'm highlight, right? Okay. I can't define directly over here. I can't define some logger.
Are you sharing another screen?
Yeah.
I'm only see the the board.
Really. Now, no,
No, I only see.
the board only.
Yeah.
Let me vanish the board. So, now, no,
No.
I'm using this board for first time.
Maybe share and reshare.
So this flow, this is called error handler, the one highlighted over here, right?
But this is a flow level.
Flow level, flow error handler, right? But
Yeah.
I can't directly put logger over here. This is not allowed. Why?
This is the only error handle section.
Error handling section, but I can't put logic directly over here. What it contains? What the error handle contains?
It's only error handle scope, right? It's
Exactly
only
correct. Error handler scopes. Okay, it
Yeah.
contains error handler scopes. Right? What are scopes? There are two kinds of scopes. We'll see the difference. One is on error continue or on error propagate. We can drag this, the
Yeah.
scopes, and inside these scopes, I can define my
on
error
error
handle.
propagate.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
And I understand, right? You explain more about what contains error handling scope.
Correct.
But this right now is error handling flow, right?
Flow level. Yes.
And I don't know if you could maybe take us, a few seconds. Where is the application one?
Exactly. I'm coming to that point. You
Okay.
asked the
All
same
right.
question.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Here
right,
there is.
thank you.
You can see something over here. Error handler.
Yeah.
Right. I can drag this error handler and put over here. Right. So this has some name. See, the name of this error handler is error handler, something error handler concept, error handler, something. I can make this small, like
Yeah.
global. I can give something. I can give any name. Okay, I'm giving this name as global error handler.
Okay.
Right. So I can I directly put logic over here? Like can I directly put logger over here? Is allowed.
Yeah.
So what is this container? What this contains? The same, right?
Yeah.
It contains error handler scopes.
Yeah.
I can put scopes. Right? Scope over here. Any number of scopes. Scopes over here. And okay, now it's clear.
But this is the same one as the one on the top.
Yeah, yeah. But this is flow level. This error handler doesn't require any name.
Oh, you're right. It's inside the flow.
Yeah, inside the flow. It doesn't
They're
require
both
any name.
there. I think they're both inside the flow, but
No.
one is.
This is outside the flow.
Okay.
I can put one more thing over here.
But they are okay. All right. So that's inside the flow. This one inside the application.
Exactly, inside the application. Something over here. This one you can identify. See, this is not inside the flow. Right?
I see.
This is an independent entity, independent error handler.
Yeah.
Right? Where this is only for dedicated for this flow only.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So this logic is for handling errors occurring in this flow only.
Yeah.
It won't bother errors occurs in other parts of our application.
Okay.
Right? For this flow scope error handler. This is global error handler, application scope error. We can refer this one anywhere in any flow. We can come over here. Right? So I can do one thing right now. Can define one more flow. Okay. See this is if you click on the error handler section, right?
Yeah.
It is reference. It is asking for reference.
Yeah.
If I open here, I can see all global error handlers over here. Right now, my application contains only one global error handler, so it's showing up over. If I select like this, what happens? So this guy is referring this error handler. If any error occurs in this flow, the control comes over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are some components that don't come with the error handler,
Which
right?
components?
So what is the last, which the one that you dragged for last time? The one that was pointing to the global one.
Yeah.
The scheduler?
Scheduler is just a photo. I can remove the scheduler. Nothing is the scheduler.
So, so scheduler has its own error handler.
Yeah, scheduler has its own error handler. Even it is scheduler has see, put a scheduler over here, and this is
It
scheduler.
comes
Means
with.
it is a flow actual. It's not scheduler. See, it's a
Mm,
flow. In the
okay.
source, the scheduler is we configure the schedule in the source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the flow has a error handling section, right? If you
Yeah.
click on the error handler section, it is asking for reference. Okay, means are you referring to any global error handler? That's what it is asking. If you
Okay.
don't want to refer a global error handling, what we'll do, we can expand this one and we can define error handling over in this flow. Okay. Either we need to refer the global error handler or we can define error handling logic for this flow.
Local one. Okay.
Okay, locally we can define error handling logic for that flow. Right?
But right now it's empty.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
say that we have a log. Can you put a log or something under the scheduler
Okay.
or some?
Okay. So, okay.
So if we do that, then okay, that's the component level. So this error handler, it want us okay. It want us either to use a global or its own error handler.
Yes.
So how do they know? And so we like to create a unique name. If we say that, for example, if we say to you, this is there will be error, use a local error handler or its own local error handler and not a global one at all.
Mhm.
How do we define that?
Okay. See, now what is this flow name? Error handling concepts flow, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So I go to the level C. Error handling concept flow. This is a flow start from here and from here into here,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you see, there is error handler defined over here. This is
yeah,
inside the flow. See
yeah,
the flow ends over here, right?
yeah,
Right. This error handler you define it inside this one. So if any error occurs, this guy will take care.
yeah.
Okay. So there is no name over here. See, there's no name. I didn't give any name over here, right?
Okay.
Okay. And let me see one more difference. See, this is what is this? Error handling concepts flow 2, the
Flow
name of
two.
this flow
Yeah,
2. But what
yeah.
is doing error handler
It's a
reference is referring
global,
global error
global one.
handler. If you see the code of that flow, error handling concept flow 2, error handler ref means referring to global error
Reference.
handler,
Yeah.
right?
So did you pick the global error handler? Uh,
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
did you associate it to this or it did
exactly.
automatically?
Exactly. No, I show you actually. Okay, I can do one thing. I can do this one. Initially, it's like this. Okay. I associated that one.
Yeah.
Want to deassociate? I can go to here and one moment. I can show you how to associate. Just the reference. See the reference.
Mm.
The reference. Someone see. There is no error handler over here, right? Okay. So we click on this blocks. It is asking for reference.
Mm.
All right. If I select that one, what happened?
It will yeah, I'll put there. Okay, I see. Global
Okay.
error handler.
Reference global error, right? Like that we refer global
So
error.
so if you wanted its own error handler for this like and the concept of flow tool,
Mm-hmm.
then what do? You create
No,
a
either need to refer global or local, not both. If you
yeah, I
want,
know. How do you make it local?
so then
How
we
you
go
can
over here and
You
remove that
create
one. Remove the reference.
you create a new one.
No, remove the just remove the reference. That's it, and create the new
Okay.
one. Now come over here, and it is the remove reference is gone. Now add your logic. Add error underscores.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then on area.
on error contain scope. That's it. It's become local
Okay.
now. It's local.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So so this is I know it's very important topic. It's very important, and you know, error handling you have to really good at it. But how hard it is to learn?
it's easy, Adam. Actually,
Is that right?
yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, it
You
feels
feel
like
difficulty.
it feels like overwhelmed. Like so many
Oh,
because so many components and so many flows, and you have to take all the flows into the and errors into account. And I don't know.
me explain a different way. Okay, one moment.
Yeah, I think I understand it very well. The only thing is that every time I create a flow, we have to you have to take error handling into account,
Yeah,
and then every time you have a component, you have to take error handling into account, and then we also have a global error handling. So I understand it very well, and I'm thinking, I don't know, is this like I don't know, is maybe it's a tedious work, a lot of
yeah.
a
First,
lot a
initially,
lot.
if you face like that. Once we start working on that, you can get
Yeah,
habituated. Okay.
yeah, got it.
Yeah. We discussed about error handler. What is error handler? Error handler is a container.
It's a
The container
container.
you can put in local or global. Okay.
Okay, I like
This
that.
is a box or container, whatever. It contains
Mm,
error handler scopes. Error handler is a container that contains error handler scopes.
mm,
If I put this error handler box inside the flow, that becomes flow-based error handler. If you remove
yeah,
that error box from the flow and put outside, it becomes global error handler. If I put the same box inside the try scope, that becomes component level error handler.
yeah.
Okay, but box contains the scopes. Okay, now what are the scopes? Why the scopes?
Yeah,
So
because I think that's the question.
each
Mm,
scope is defined to handle error.
yeah,
Okay, each scope is defined some to handle some error. So in your logic, you are writing you are defining some logic, right? So in your logic, what you are doing is what your requirement is. Uh, we will get a request from the postman or some client. Some client will give request to us.
mhm,
The first activity we need to do is we need to write that request, whatever payload that is coming from the client. That payload we need to write to file. Okay,
uh,
write to file. The first activity. And second activity is you need to insert
mm,
a record to database. Whatever things that coming that you need to insert to database. Okay, insert to DB. And finally, if database is successfully insert, write the confirmation to JMS. Okay, successfully inserted line. Okay, if you have any failure in database, we need to write fail to insert to database. Something that the result we need to write to JMS.
okay.
Okay, JMS queue. So that is your business requirement, right? So now you are coding that one. First you write to file and you insert it to database. Okay, this is file component. You're writing to file. Afterwards, your database insert. Okay, and finally JMS publish. Okay, three activities you are doing inside the flow. Now how many types of errors we may encounter while executing this flow. There's chance of getting errors. How many types of how many what I say? What are the
So,
chances?
yeah, 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
We may get the file errors. We may get
Yeah,
database errors. We may
yeah,
get JMS error. Okay.
yeah.
So to handle each kind of category,
Uh,
okay, we define a box. This is error handler. Error handler is a box. There's a box is there.
yeah.
Inside this box, to handle each kind of category, we define a scope. This scope is responsible for handling file errors, and another scope is responsible for handling database errors, and another scope is responsible for handling JMS errors. Okay, it is not always like that. You can put one scope and you can handle all the errors in single scope. Also, that's also possible. Okay. Then why scope is intended to handle error, actual error. In each scope you can configure a scope what error you're going to handle. I can tell this I can configure this scope to handle that kind of error. Okay, if file error occurs, control comes over here. If anything error occurs in the database, control comes to the second block. If JMS error occurs, control comes to third block. So what I do is each error I can handle in a separate way in whatever the requirement demands, right? I got the flexibility, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. And but based on what you show me,
Mhm.
there are so many namespace in the file and
Yeah,
in also database. There's so many different errors
exactly.
in
Yeah,
each scope.
exactly. Yeah.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, that I can show you right now how to add that one, how to configure the error scopes. But now try to understand what is the scope. Actually, what
Yeah,
is error handler means? Error handler is simple box.
yeah,
Okay, that contains scopes. First point.
yep,
Each scope is intended to handle some error.
yeah.
Okay, right. Now we will understand about on error continue on propagate, and I can show the demo. Okay, on error continue and on error propagate. What are these? The types of scopes. Okay, I told the two types of scopes, right?
Yeah.
One is on error continue kind of scope, another on error propagate kind of scope. Propagate.
Mm-hmm.
So what your requirement is, what your boss says, hey, head up, you need to you need to develop some functionality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Write to a file. You got a request, write that request to a file. Afterwards, write to database and write to publish. And condition is even if writing to the file fails, okay, some reason maybe the file is not available or some network issue, something issue, file fails, you need to continue and write to database. Don't return error. Okay, even the file operation fails because this is you feel the business feels this is not much okay priority, but okay that is not much. Even it fails, it doesn't matter. I need to go ahead and continue database operation. Okay. Usually what happens if error occurs, it will throws back, right? Got it, Adam?
Yeah. So can you
Okay.
see the last part? So I understand that an error to continue.
Yeah.
The second one is an on error propagate, right?
Propagate.
So
Okay.
that means what? To
Propagate means if error occurs,
yeah.
stop the execution.
Okay.
Both ways you can stop, but okay. Okay. Propagate means the error will throw back to the client.
Okay.
Okay. Continue also it's sent back to client, but continue retains a success response, whereas propagate retains an error
Yeah.
response.
On error continue, that means applicate. We know the error, we could capture it, but application will continue. The request will continue.
Okay, there is
Right.
some exception is there. I'm confusing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, whenever an error occurs in any component at the flow level, okay, for suppose
Yeah.
you're doing some error,
Yeah.
you got error in writing to file, okay, the file is not accessible.
Yeah.
So it stops the execution here itself. It won't move forward. What happens? It
Yeah.
comes to the this on continuous scope. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm handling the file errors in continuous scope, it might be continuous scope or propagate scope. I can choose anything. But
Okay.
if I
Okay.
am handling in a continuous scope, what happens
Mm.
is all the processors inside the continuous scope will execute it and response sent to client, but that response is success response. The 200 status code means success response will send back to client.
Mm.
Okay, right? So
Yeah.
even error occurs, it comes to continue block and this continuous execution and success response sent back to client.
Mm.
If I am handling the file error in a on a propagate scope, for example, okay, propagate scope also the control comes over here. Whatever you define, it will execute it over here, but it will throws an this error object to the client. It won't send a continue,
Okay.
success response.
Okay.
Okay,
And
propagate,
then
yeah.
when he sends back the information to the client
Yeah,
about the error,
yeah,
then it will not execute anymore. It will stop.
yes, yes. In the
Yeah.
both the cases, it stops only. In the both the cases, even another continue also,
Uh-huh.
the file like after the file, it won't execute this one and this one. This both are not get executed.
Okay.
Okay, it lands into this scope. The scope will execute and the response is sent back to client.
And it will stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Uh-huh.
I let me tell you one more thing. Okay, I can show you this example. Okay. Okay, let me try about this to another propagate and continue. What I'm doing is some log I write over here. And if I show you the configuration, this is very simple. HTTP listener configuration. I configured at the port 8081
Uh-huh.
and there is no path given, I think. Okay, there is no path. Okay, very simple. And there is some set payload. I put some payload like HTTP request operation, something like a HTTP request operation.
HTTP request.
Okay.
Mm.
And here what I'm doing is I'm doing some HTTP call. What's HTTP call I'm calling? abc.com/abc. Actually, this is a weird one. This, this URL is not exists in the world.
Yeah.
So I will definitely get error, right?
Okay.
Okay. If
And
get error,
then
yeah,
okay. Then you log it.
it go to this one logger, right?
Okay.
Okay. So let me debug this one. Stop it.
So I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you said in error handling
Yeah.
you cannot log it. You cannot the log. You cannot. I thought you said the error handling section. The only thing that you can go there is the on and the two scopes of error handling.
Yes.
But looks like you have a log here. Is that just because you give me example?
Two scopes, right? Okay, let me show you the scope. So what is the scope? The scope handle. So I didn't give any type over here, right? But scope.
So you choose on error propagate, right?
On a propagate, yeah.
But inside there it has a logger.
Yeah, I put some log. Just I'm log on to log. Just I want to log this one. That was any request, something like that.
Okay, error.
I can put anything over it.
Is
Whatever
that right?
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my understanding was that an error handling instruction you can only put either on propagate or on continue,
Yes,
on
yes.
error continue.
See, this is a box.
But
The one, you know,
yeah,
this box
but you
contains what? Honor propagate.
so
Okay.
inside there you can put anything.
Yeah, instead I can put the logic, error handling logic. Whatever
Yeah,
logic you
yeah,
want to sense, that put over. Okay, that
got it,
logic you send.
got it.
Got it. See, I
So you ran.
settings first. See, now control is over here. Okay.
Okay.
See, there is no error actually. But the thing is, I didn't execute this request. I'm not
Got it.
sending the request, right?
You
If
came
I
here.
send that one, what happens? I got error now. Okay, you can see the red border, right? It's error. I got an error. Okay. So now, if you see in
Does it
the
say what? Does it say what's the error is?
yeah
Error
here
type.
see error
HTTP forbidden.
error type is HTTP forbidden, right?
Yeah.
See, HTTP put resource
403. 403.
ABC. What request I put? Yeah, I told you, right? Right. See, uh, see this is error type forbidden,
Yeah, 403. I see that.
and if we go inside over here, and there is a parent error type. Okay, there is some hierarchy over here actually. HTTP forbidden is a child of HTTP client security, and it is child of mule client security, and it is child of mule security, and finally mule any. Mule any is a parent one. Okay, mule any means it handles any kind of it. Okay, I can show you this hierarchy. This doesn't just for your knowledge purpose only I showed you. It doesn't matter. See this error type. HTTP is a namespace and forbidden is a
Yeah.
identifier.
Identify. Yeah.
Okay. So now if I move forward, the control comes to on and propagate scope. See over here,
Yeah.
it's getting executed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if I click once again, what happens is I will get C500 server error. Okay. And HTTP request operation I got some payload. How I got that payload is
500.
see,
Yeah, the log. Yeah, you put that in the log.
log won't come. Log only writes to the error occur by sending a request. This line is come to log console or log port. Here, see, I got this one, right? Error occur by sending the request. Log you open, you only see the console. Okay, and log port file. Okay.
Error code.
Now I got this response.
So hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
So can you go back to the flow? So the error handling, the error message in the log. So the log, okay, if you go to the log, yeah,
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
So error occur while sending request, right?
Error occur by sending,
That
yeah,
is that becomes what? And that's error message, right? You log in.
Yes, yes.
And that's what then Postman get it back
No,
as a
it's only
payload.
write to log file. You know log
Yeah,
files.
yeah.
log files are there, right? First, if any error occurs, what we do, we check the log files first.
Okay, so
Right?
this one writes the log,
Yeah.
and
I
it
can
said the error code, right?
exactly. Okay, let me show you the log file where it is actually. So if I go to this one. What is our application name? One moment. Our application name is error handling concepts. This is the application
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Okay, error handling concepts. Now there is a file called inside the apps error handling concepts.
Yeah.
Inside this one, find the blocks. You can find error handling concept. This one. Okay, this is the file actually.
Mm.
So open the file. I can show you.
Okay.
So this is a log file. The one I write is
Wow,
I
the
put a
whole
logger
thing.
is
Yeah,
here error occurred while sending the request. You can see that
yeah.
that is log file.
And that's
So
what you had on the log.
yeah,
And then, and is that what what do you call that? Postman gets back as well?
no. That's what I'm explaining now. How Postman get
Yeah,
that one. Okay. See, in this is the guy, right? Okay, what is this listener? This is talking with the postman,
yeah.
right? So whenever you send a request, that is first received by the listener.
Uh-huh.
Listener, what listener will do? Listener will change to mule event, and the mule event is given to set payload component, and this process will happen. At last, that will mule event is given to listener, and listener again transform back to HTTP response, and that's response sent back to postman. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who will sending response back to postman is listener is sending response back to postman actually. Okay. Okay. So if I put a listener, if I click on the listener, and you can see response section over here.
Mm.
Okay. I put a response section. What response I am sending? I am sending payload as a response back to
Yeah.
postman.
Yeah.
Okay. See here. Sorry, not body. There is some response, error response actually. The error response means I'm sending payload as a response to the postman.
Yeah.
Okay. Here I'm setting some response. What payload I'm setting HTTP request operation. This is the payload I'm setting, right? Before
Give
header.
request operations.
Payload HTTP request operations. This is the payload I set before getting error, right? So that error will go to the client actually. But actually this is a modified actually. If I did modify what by default what contains. Let me what listener I can show you. The back HTTP listener. I can show you what response section contains. You see response section, the error response it contains error dot description.
Yeah.
Okay. This one. There's a same here for this response. The error response section instead of payload, I'm putting error description. It is flow. Now I again running this flow.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Like I sent a request, right? So now execute that request operation, I'll get error. Right? So
Okay.
error
403.
Error dot description. What is this description? HTTP put on resource forbidden. This is the
Yeah.
description, right?
Mm.
Okay. So if I forward that one, comes shown here, forward ahead, and I see the error. What HTTP put on resource?
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. So how I am getting the output is the listener contains the response section. In the response, if successful response means payload will go back to postman.
Yeah.
If any error occurs, there is error response section. It is sending error dot description. Means whatever error occurs, that error description sent to postman by default. If you want, you can change. I changed earlier, but by default, I will show you that. Okay. Okay. Now you can see this 500 error means the error is thrown back to client actually.
Got it.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is this is in the flow. Okay. Flow is something like some flow, some name of okay, it will be some time. There is a flow reference. This flow reference is referring flow. Right? See, this flow reference referring to this flow too. Right? So what I said about the flow reference, Adam? If the flow reference is encountered, all these three components will come and sit over here, execute over here, right? Yeah, remember Adam?
Yeah, can you say one more time? So what happened? That's a flow two.
Flow 2. I'm referring flow 2 in this section, in this main flow.
Okay.
This as a main flow. The main flow, this flow name is called main flow. Main flow, what I'm doing is I'm referring another flow. That name is flow 2. The flow is like this. Okay. So in our first sessions, what I told is whenever we have a flow reference, right? Whatever the components inside that flow will come and execute at this place, right? Remember?
Yeah. So we listen, then the information goes to the flow two.
Yeah.
Right.
Flow to flow to is the better explanation we can give is all these components will come and execute in this place. So okay.
Yeah.
Logically this flow to, but this execution happening in the flow one only. Sorry, main flow only. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the catch is this flow has error handler and this flow has error. See, we're calling a flow. This flow, we refer the flow to. Flow 2 has error handler and main flow has error handler.
Yeah.
Right. So if I configure a error handler scope like on error, propagate. So this one configuring to handle HTTP. What I want to do is I want to handle any HTTP errors. See, if I see, I have whole bunch of HTTP errors, right? HTTP.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I want to do, I want to handle any kind of HTTP error I want to handle by the scope.
Okay.
Okay. If I give any right, what happens? Even if it has database as JBase, that is also handling in the scope, right? But what the requirement is, I want to configure the scope in such a way that it handle all HTTP errors.
Okay.
Right. So in that case, what you have to configure is you should not configure this one. You should configure this one. Okay, you need to do some expression. Okay. What you can tell is error. Okay, I'll show this one. Okay, how to configure this one when to handle all HTTP errors. First, what happens? Okay, that one I don't get because multiple things you confuse. That one I put it later. Don't worry about that. How to configure a scope to handle a specific kind of error. Okay, that one I will tell you. Now focus on one thing, Adam.
Okay.
There are two flows are there here.
Yeah.
Okay, the main flow and flow 2, right?
Yeah.
And the error occurring in the flow 2. Okay.
Oh.
So let me put a breakpoint over here. It's already running. See this flow so that you get it right. Get deployed. So let me run this one. Run it. So now it is executing this one, right? Adam, you are seeing floating executing. Okay, if I move forward, what happens? Got error, and the control comes to this error handler.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what kind of error handler it is actually? What type of error handler? On error, propagate error.
Yeah. Propagate
error handler propagates the error to the calling flow, right? Main flow. If I click over here, what happens is the error is propagated over here, and from here to the propagated over this one, right?
Okay. Okay.
And from here is going to the client. So
the client.
One, right?
Yeah.
So here this subflow is not subflow. There are two flows. With the flow, the called flow. Called flow and calling flow both has the error handlers, but both has the on error propagate scope error handlers. So error is propagated from called flow to calling flow to client. It's popped up, right? It goes back from here to client. For example, if I configure this error handler as a on error continue, the flow to what I'm doing is I'm configuring on error continue, not on error propagate. I'm configuring.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. That's nice. Let's see what it does.
Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm doing some log. I'm logging something more. Next. Yeah. Error comes here and executing the on error continue block. It's not a logger component. Yeah, Adam.
Yeah.
When error occurs, it lands to the error handler scope. It
Yeah.
stops the execution of the flow. It won't move forward. The first point you remember. Either whatever scope may be. Okay, scope doesn't matter. When error occurs, the control lands into the error handler scope. Right? Okay. The point you need to focus now is what is the kind of scope? This is on error continuous scope. Right? So if on error continuous scope, what happens is the error is not popped to the main flow. Okay. So when if I move to the next point, what happens is, see, the control comes to the logger, right? So the flow reference got successfully executed, even though error occurs, this continuous scope not return the error to the main flow.
Okay, so that's what the error continue means.
Exactly. Okay. It moved to the next
one,
next component, right?
But if when it was propagate, it didn't go logger. It came to the flow back, right? And it give back to the listener.
Yeah. In the previous example I showed you. If it is propagate, error propagated to flow reference and then error propagated to the this level.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And this will executes. And what reference, what value we get? We get 200. Okay. Success response. Okay.
Even though it got error message.
Even though it error means, see this as we continue, whatever is error is propagated to the main flow, right? Error is not propagated to main flow. So if there is no error, it is created success. Logger executed and we get success response.
But how can be 200? Because remember we were requesting a bad and a URL. And that bad URL is supposed to be like, you can, it's like you're supposed to get like a 403 or, 500, whatever. Then that was, bad error message. And then when it comes back to that's what the error continual did in the flow tool. And when it passes back to the logger, it's supposed to print and the error message, right?
No, so back to logger. What we are printing this logger? After HTTP request, some message I'm printing over here. Okay. This I can see over here in the console. After HTTP request, right?
Okay. All right. I know the log. Okay, so it's printing whatever you have a log. Exactly. But in this time, it's not reporting correctly what the error message was.
Just because the reason is on error continue.
Error continue. Okay, I see.
Okay, could propagate. The error is popped back to the main flow from the from where it is occurred. It's propagated back to main flow, but error is not propagating from the this flow to this flow because of this one on error continue.
So I have a crazy question.
Yeah.
And is there like a custom error handling in Mule?
Yeah.
Where you code or like you write up script like if this do this, if this do this.
Yeah, you can.
Is that common?
accept common sense, yes, we will define customer error handler for that, for some of the errors. But most
So,
probably manage this one. Okay. But there is
so
a
is this like a this error? I know that error and error, the two scopes of error handling in Mule that you show me, like error handle to continue or error handle to propagate, is the concept that Mulesoft offers, right?
exactly, yeah.
And and I think that's good to know that. But and I'm thinking in real world, you might see a lot of other and you may have a different way, a customized way of doing it, of handling this. There are certain conditions that you wanna to continue. There are certain conditions that you wanna propagate. I don't know, but I'm thinking out loud here, but and I'm
Yeah.
thinking might be people like you who have done this so long. Do you don't depend on air continue on air propagate. You might come up with your own way of doing error handling.
That's not common. It's very rare. It depends if we have so much
Okay,
customized requirement only, we go for it.
okay,
Okay. We will define some kind of error handling framework for each project,
uh,
and that we follow that framework. We define some framework, the customer framework, but that contains these components only, another propagate and another continue components only.
all right,
Okay.
cool. We'll get to that one, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah.
well, thank you. That's good. This is really is an important subject, and I hope once we use a real project that I'll have some
Exactly.
better idea how to utilize this. But I understand the concept wise and the scope of error handling and how to use them and how it's used.
To summarize, we have error handler.
Mm,
Error handler is simply a box. It contains error handler
yeah,
scopes.
yeah,
We put this box outside the flow or inside the flow. If you put inside the flow, it becomes local, flow local. If you
that's
put
right.
outside the flow, that is global. Okay.
Mm,
This
mm,
box contains error handler scopes.
yeah,
Each scope is intended to handle some errors.
that's right.
Okay. There are two kinds of scopes. That is, one is continuous scope and
And one
propagate scope.
propagate scope.
Right. So propagate scope will propagate error back to client who called this flow.
That's right.
Okay. And continuous scope won't send an error. This block will execute, and the output
Mm,
of this block execution of this main, sent back to client success response.
yeah.
Okay. So continuous scope doesn't send error back to client, whereas propagate scope sends an error back to
That
client.
is, yeah, yeah,
Here client means that may be a flow that is calling this, that is referring this flow.
yeah.
Maybe another flow that is referring this flow. Maybe
Mm,
a client application that is calling this flow. Okay. So whatever. When the request comes to this flow, right? So propagate will send an error back to the caller, whereas
mm,
continue won't send the error back to caller. That is the main fundamental you need to remember. All right. And each scope, whether it may be propagate or continue, will configure what we configure. We configure error. Means this scope is capable to handle that error.
mm,
Right?
yeah.
Okay. Go step by step. Do you have any meeting now?
Was that?
Do you have any meeting? Do you have anything now?
No, I think I'm good. I'm good for next 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Shout if you have anything. Okay, I can close
Okay.
it.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.